This looks like a pretty sophisticated piece of equipment, doesn't it? It is. It's made by NEMO, New Evolution Military Ordnance, and this is the brand new XO, the Executive Order Rifle. This is a special rifle. It's serial number 0001, the very first one they've ever made. And I am on a mission today down in Georgia. We're going to put this bad boy to the test because they've got a hog problem down here. We hunt for different reasons, but it's more than just the kill. First off, I'm grateful to be an American, to live in a country that still has country like this. Wide open, wild stuff, and I love it. It's about the experience, freedom, passion, and adventure. For me, hunting is the ultimate pursuit.
We need to get out of here. This is danger zone.
Connection with nature that only a hunter can experience. I've spent my entire life perfecting my skills, braving the elements in pursuit of my prey. The wild is where I belong. I'm Keith Warren, and like you, I live for the hunt. Join me and take the high road.
My name's Bland Williams with Gumlog Plantation. We're located just outside of Abbeville in south central Georgia. Gumlog Plantation has 1,300 acres here on the Okmulgee River. We offer whitetail deer hunting, turkey, and some of the best hog hunting in the South. The way this hunt came about, Brad Steele's been hunting with us for several years here at Gumlog. He told Keith about our facility, and they came down last year on a deer hunt.
My name is Brad Steele from Roswell, Georgia. I've had the great pleasure of knowing Keith for a long time and hunting together all over these great states of ours. I've been working on him for years and years to get him to Georgia, and he finally came last deer season, but it didn't turn out the way we had hoped.
This was my first time meeting Keith. He came down on a deer hunt, and the weather was terrible for deer. It was extremely hot here for our rut.
The weather shut everything down, and so we very quickly changed gears and we went after hogs. If there's one thing I know about Keith, he absolutely loves hog hunting.
And we got plenty of hogs here to keep Keith occupied.
So here we are, springtime, and I heard that Keith got a new toy, a NEMO AR-10 308 platform. And I know that he had a thermal imaging from Armasight, and I couldn't think of a better time for him to come to put the hurt down on some hogs.
We wanted to get him back over here. So we don't normally do this, but we made an exception for Mr. Warren and sent our company plane out to pick him up personally.
I mean, come on, who gets a company plane?
We'll be cruising about 8,000 feet. We have an exit door right here, and my name's Avery, and if you guys need anything, give me a shout.
Now, how cool is that? I mean, the folks at Gumlog, they sent their private plane to pick me up. I think it's pretty special.
How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. More and more I'm getting to know Keith. I'm starting to learn a little bit about him. The first thing he came off the plane with was a giant case of tannerite.
Everybody gives me a hard time about tannerite.
I've already posted a picture of you holding the tannerite, and about 1 million comments of, God, does Keith go anywhere without his tannerite?
Not really if I want to have a good time.
For those of you back home that don't know what tannerite is, it's an exploding rifle target, and when you hit it, boy, you'll know.
The High Road with Keith Warren is presented by Reconyx, 10X high-performance hunting gear, record rack deer and elk feed, Burt Coyote's LUMENOK, Supercharged Scent Killer by Wildlife Research Center, 99%. Tannerite. And Bloodsport. The High Road will be right back.
Keith and his relationship with Tannerite are legendary. He goes everywhere with Tannerite. So of course Keith brought some on this trip. And he set it up in the shooting range on the post, and it was pretty impressive to watch it go off.
I want to talk to you a little bit about Tannerite for a second. You know, a lot of people see us having a good time with it, and it's so you can have a good time, but it is a binary exploding rifle target. It is exceptionally safe. It will not go off unless it is discharged with a high caliber firearm. Tannerite is something that I think, just like firearms and just like a claw hammer or a screwdriver, you have to use it the way it's intended to be. But the instructions are on the label. Use it as directed, and I promise you, it's safe and you'll have a great time.
When Keith landed, the first thing I wanted to see was that new Nemo that he had, because I wanted to see what he was going to use to put those hogs down.
This is such a sweet rifle. You've heard me mention it. It's a Nemo, but Nemo stands for New Evolution Military Ordnance. This is the executive order, and this is serial number 0001.
I've saw a lot of ARs, and this one is the Rolls Royce of ARs. It is extremely light.
On top of the Nemo has a long rail, and on the rail in front of the Trigicon there's an Armacite Apollo thermal unit and a record deck on that. The ammunition that I'm going to be feeding through this rifle, now this is .308 Winchester as a caliber. The ammunition is made by Freedom Munitions. These are 155 grain hollow point boat tail bullets, and if you take a good close look at that bullet tip, you can see it's a hollow point. Now this, although it does not have as much penetration as say a Nosler Partition would, it's certainly adequate penetration for hog hunting. As far as the magazine goes for this rifle, this is a 20 round magazine made by Magpul. Now the cool thing is with this rifle, the thermal unit can come off and on real quick. I mean, in just a matter of seconds, I can pull it off, pull it back on. You'll notice I have it topped off with a variable power Trigicon scope that has an illuminated reticle on it. We're gonna go out and create some history with it. Tonight, all we've got to do is just get the thermal back on, and the pigs are in trouble tonight.
We utilize game cameras here at Gumlog year round. Some of the footage off of these Reconyx game cameras is phenomenal. This was Keith's first trip out with this Nemo 308, and the first night down he wanted to sit in one of our shooting houses here at Gumlog and get familiar with the equipment and get all the bells and whistles worked out.
You know, when you combine all this sophisticated equipment like this, you have to give yourself kind of some time for what I call the learning curve. And so what I wanted to do on this hunt, I wanted to head out and sit in a box stand and make sure that I went through that learning curve in a real life scenario as a hunter, and make sure that I understood how effective everything is, how it all functions, and make sure that I can operate it in the dark. It's about 9:30 p.m. right now, and I snuck in here in the cover of darkness. This right here is going to be the inaugural hunt with this rifle. It's an incredible AR. And this is a little record deck right here I can turn on, and if there are any hogs out there at all that will measure the heat off their body, I've got it set on white hot, and it ought to be able to show the hogs up pretty easily. So what I'm going to do is just get things settled down, give it a little bit. We're going to turn the light off, and then I'm going to turn the thermal on and do a little bit of scanning out in the field and see what comes out. Here they come. There's quite a few, and there's some good sized ones in there too. Alright, what I want to do is try to line 2 of them up for the first shot if I can. Alright, see those 2 guys? They got to line up. Alright, here we go. Good gosh, look at them go. Holy smokes, look at him flip. I don't know if we're going to be able to find these guys or not. That grass is so doggone tall. It's going to be interesting to see if we can find them. That right there, my friends, was pretty doggone cool. Okay. Well, this hog is about 110, 120 pounds. It's a nice eating size hog. And I'm just hoping that the video looked as good, or looks as good as it looked through my thermal when I pulled the trigger. Because this guy right here, I mean, he was going away and I touched it off. You know, this is a learning experience for me. You know, the hogs, I mean, there's no doubt the place is full of hogs, and we got lots of footage of them coming in. They weren't going anywhere. I mean, the conditions were perfect and they didn't know that we were even there. And so what I was trying to do is actually line 2 hogs up to be able to take 2 at a time. That didn't work out too good, but I was able to get this guy, and it's a learning experience for me. Very first night out. Tomorrow night, hopefully I'll be able to take what I learned tonight and do a little bit better, but we've got several nights here, and I promise you the pigs are in trouble.
The High Road with Keith Warren is presented by Armasight, Nemo Arms, the entire line of Food Saver Game Saver vacuum sealing systems, BSA Optics, Camo Adult Precision Air Rifles, and FreedomMunitions.com, your online ammunition destination. The High Road will be right back. Tannerite brand binary exploding rifle targets presents viewer feedback.
Jerry's from North Carolina. He says, I see you hunt all different methods and I love the diversity. My question is about big game hunting with AR rifles. What do you think the future looks like for AR rifles in the hunting space? Jerry, I think in the hunting space, as long as you're shooting an accurate rifle like a Nemo, these things are as accurate as any custom-made bolt gun you're going to put your hands on. When you use an accurate AR rifle, the future in the hunting space is unbelievable. Great question.
After the first night of box standing with Keith, I wanted to show him how we get after it here in the South, so we took the game to them.
Tonight we're going over on an adjacent farm to Gumlog where we do a lot of row cropping. There's a lot more action. You can spot them and get out on foot and actually put a stalk on them. It's going to be fun.
As we head to the field, I am super pumped because I know this is the same field that lots of hogs were in during the deer season. So now I brought with me every piece of Armasight equipment that I own, literally. I mean, I had my PVS 14, and as Bland's driving around, I'm scanning. Bland is using his thermal vision. I mean, we're out there, and the first spot we stop, we see some hogs out there, and it's like, okay, we bail out and make a little walk, and we're trying to read the wind because the hogs, I mean, even at nighttime, their nose is going to never lie to them. Fortunately, there's very little wind, and as I pull the rifle up and I put it on the shooting sticks and turn on the Apollo, it's amazing what I see. There are hogs everywhere. I mean, dozens upon dozens. There may have been 100 hogs out there. You know, it's all kind of quiet and peaceful in a hog world, and they have no idea that the boogeyman is looking right down at them. Now it's just a matter of figuring out which one do I want to take out, because I know when I pull the trigger on that very first hog, it's going to be lights out instantly, and then it's going to be mass chaos. Yep. We had a real good volley just then. I mean, snuck in this field, and the hogs are in here rooting around at night. There must have been 75 hogs out here tonight. I mean, it was absolutely full of them, and this is the very first one. It hit it high in the shoulder, but I mean, hitting a running animal is pretty challenging, and I'm glad that I'm shooting an AR in order to, you know, shoot a lot. All right, this is hog number 2, and so far it's been a really bad night for the hogs out in this field. But I want to talk to you about hunting at night. If you're going to do it, you have to have specialty equipment, from your rifle to your scope to your night vision or thermal vision equipment. And this is relatively expensive gear. And so what I want to do is put in a plug for my friends over at Optics Planet. Optics Planet is an online e-commerce retailer. What Optics Planet does, they carry not just optics, but they carry Trijicon, they carry Armasight, but they carry a lot of other sporting equipment that if you're watching the show, you're gonna want to check them out. But the reason why I would encourage you to call Optics Planet, especially when you buy night vision stuff, is they are schooled on the Armasight equipment. So they can talk you all the way through your purchase, whether you want to buy the bottom line or whether you want to buy top of the line. They've got great selection, great pricing, and the best thing about Optics Planet, they're knowledgeable and they'll ship it right to your home. This is about 150-pound jet black boar hog. This is number 3 out of this bunch. Anyway, we've got hogs all over the place, and we've got to go pick these guys up, and then we're gonna load the Nemo up again and go to work on them.
The High Road with Keith Warren is presented by Liberty Safe, OpticsPlanet.com, Darton Archery, Supercharged Scent Killer by Wildlife Research Center, 99%, Blue Rock Outfitters, and Shadow Hunter Blinds. Elevators. The High Road will be right back.
What more could you ask for on a Georgia night? Tons of hogs and lots of brass in the air. Doesn't get any better than that.
Now we cleared one field out of hogs, it's time to kind of ease around and maybe change up strategy a bit. So this time I'm leaving everybody behind, including my cameraman. I'm just going to walk up on some and get the job done. What, it is hard on a set of shooting sticks to hit every single time, but the Armasight is so effective that it measures any heat whatsoever. As we hit some of these animals, you can actually see pieces of their body fly in the air because the pieces of the body are warm. Now, how sensitive is that? This is a nice size hog here. It's a sow. It's got a real nice size hole in the side of it there, and it's probably 130 pounds, something like that. But it's a nice size hog. The load that I'm shooting is a 155 grain bullet, and it is a remanufactured load from Freedom Munitions. And so Freedom Munitions is an online ammunition destination. Go on, and any ammunition you want, you can get there. We're going to go ahead and head in now. We've got a lot of pork to clean up. We may need a bigger buggy.
Perhaps a trailer to pull behind.
One of the great things about coming to Gumlog is nothing goes to waste here.
We take the hogs out to the skinning shed and get them cleaned down and washed down, get all the dirt and mud off from them, get them skinned up and quartered, and send them home with everyone from there. Behind the scenes of a successful television show, there's things that go on that you just don't see on TV.
something behind the scenes here at Gumlog Plantation I want to tell you about. It's a person. There's one guy you'll hardly ever hear him say a word, but you're going to see him working his absolute butt off. And he's working his butt off for me as a hunter, for you as a hunter when you come here, and for Kerry and Bland. And his name is Woody. And this guy right here, I'm telling you, he's worth his weight in gold.
We pride ourselves here at Gumlog in being a step above the rest. Our facilities here are great. The accommodations, second to none, and the hospitality, it's the best it gets, folks.
They don't know how to do anything small, and I think the reason why, you know, take a look at the owner. I mean, Kerry Williams is a big man, and the thing about Kerry, he doesn't do anything small.
We've had a great time. The running joke has been both times, how much weight did we gain? The food is great, the conversation's even better.
We have had an incredible time. There's never a dull moment with Keith and Brad. That's one thing I love about having Keith down. The time we spend here around the lodge, cooking, the camaraderie, that's one thing that keeps Keith going, I think. His passion for the outdoors and just the joy of the fellowship and getting together with the guys, he is very passionate about it. It makes him a lot of fun to be around, and that is the joy of the hunt.